I know it's late, and I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I tried walking along the river thinking I would calm down enough to want to go to sleep. I'm angrier now than when I started.
You're not mad at me, I hope.
What? Oh, no. Oh, Roger, I'm sorry. I should have called you first.
No, that's all right. I just got back in myself.
Well, I was going to barge in on Faith. I tried to call her. She wasn't there. I guess she must be at Tom's.
Jillian, will you relax? Now, look, I just came back from a very heavy seminar in neurosurgery. I'm delighted to have the company and an opportunity to have some brandy. Now, why don't you just unwind and tell your brother all about it?
Thanks, Roger.
Well, who are you mad at, anyway?
Everyone, including myself. But mainly Seneca. I mean, he's really done it this time. He was sarcastic, indulgent, and drunk.
Where?
At Ray's.
What the hell were you and Seneca doing at Ray's together?
We both agreed to serve on a medical advisory panel for Frank. I know. Terrible idea, right? But Frank asked me to help on the campaign, so I said yes. And Ray told me Seneca was going to be there. I figured if he could handle it, I could handle it. I wasn't in the room 2 seconds, and he made a personal attack on me. How I was a slave to Frank, to whom he referred to as my lord and master. I mean, according to Seneca, I'm serving Frank when I should be home with my child. I am a neglectful mother for leaving Edmund with a babysitter.
No, for heaven's sake.
I mean, come on, can you imagine that? He made a personal indictment against Miriam. Miriam, for all people, he likes Miriam. Yeah, but the final outrage was when he told me that I would never get married because, and get this for a piece of dime store psychology, I was hung up on the memory of my father, and I could never make a permanent commitment to another man in my life.
Oh, he must have been very drunk.
Well, that's no excuse. He was awful. He was smug and high-handed and arrogant and miserable. I mean, the same exact Dr. Bolak who ran roughshod over the entire staff of Riverside Hospital. You know what his problem is? When he doesn't get his own way, he reverts to type. So there I was. I mean, I had a choice. I could leave, I could stay. And I knew that if I stayed, I would get into some hysterical retaliation and wind up ruining the campaign for Frank.
Where was Frank during all this?
Out of earshot. Thank God, almost everybody was. It's Frank's fault I got into this mess. If he hadn't kept nagging me about working on that campaign, none of this would have happened.
How much did he have to nag you?
Oh, not very much. Oh, I wanted to try. I knew it was a mistake. It's my fault, too. It's just that I keep wondering.
What?
Roger, I keep wondering about Ray. I mean, maybe she had this scene in mind. Seneca, Frank, and me all in the same room at the same time. Don't you see, it's possible that she engineered the whole thing. I want you to give me an honest opinion about that.
Free call.
L'œuf de la crème, monsieur.
Egg of the cream?
The egg cream, a delicacy.
Ah, oui, oui. L'œuf de la crème. You know, that was one of the first things I learned about when I came to this country, that a drink containing no egg and no cream is known as an egg cream. Elsewhere in the United States, it's known as a chocolate soda, or phosphate, or a glass of chocolate pop. But in the 5 boroughs of New York, it is known as an egg cream.
Oh, my God.
Ah, euphoria.
You know, you really must compose an ode to the egg cream someday.
So I shall. I feel qualified. Almost like a native now that I belong here. I do. I feel I belong here.
Well, of course you do.
I know, but I just realized it. I mean, finally belong. For the first time in my life, I believe it's safe to belong somewhere. Belong with somebody. You know, I haven't felt that way for, it must be 15 years. Since before Brendan died.
Brendan?
My brother. I'm sorry.
Huh.
You didn't know I had a brother.
No, I didn't.
You know so little about me, and you've been so trusting, so loving, so patient.
Do you want to tell me about Brendan?
Well, I always wanted to tell you everything, but I didn't dare with Liam stalking me and threatening anyone who was near me. The less you knew about me, the less danger you were in.
Well, Liam's dead.
So there's no need for all the mystery.
Yep.
Well, I'm afraid I've no shocking revelations, just a grim history. I had a brother, Brendan. He was 2 years older than me. We were very close. And he died when he was 14 because my father didn't believe in doctors. He was helping some fishermen beach a boat in a storm, and the line ripped through his hands and made a great gash in it. It was bad, but it certainly wasn't fatal. My father insisted on treating it himself. He wouldn't have a doctor, and he wouldn't allow my brother to go and see a doctor. So Brendan died of blood poisoning. The sort of man my father was, he disliked anybody who knew more than he did about anything, or had him under control in any way.
And your mother?
Devoted to him. Out of love, or fear, or ignorance, I don't know. But she obeyed him. You had to obey my father in order to live with him. Not all Irish families are as open and as warm as the Ryans.
You've overcome so much, haven't you?
Is that what you were thinking?
Well, yes. Why?
I don't know. I just thought that the mention of the Ryans might have brought to mind our friend Patrick.
Oh, I see.
And the fact that he and Delia left tonight on their Caribbean cruise.
No. However, I was thinking of Patrick before.
And feeling what?
Feeling less than yesterday. I don't know. Little by little, I'll separate myself from Patrick. At first, I thought I could do it all at once, but that's not possible. I'll have to take one thought at a time, one pain at a time, but I will do it. Yes, I guess it did depress me a little bit to think about Patrick and Delia on the cruise, but that is Pat's life, for better or for worse, with Delia. And this is mine.
Faith, I'm so glad I'm here for you.
Oh, Tom, I'm not using you as a diversion. I'm not trying to lose myself, and you believe me. I adore being with you.
And I with you. But, you know, if you do need to lose yourself in me, as you put it at times, well, that's perfectly all right. I'm delighted and I'm grateful for it. Because I'm happy to be lost in a feeling for you. To shared feelings.
Indeed.
Do I think that Ray could have set you up for a confrontation with Seneca or Frank?
Or maybe you don't want to talk about your feelings about Ray.
No, that's all right. Well, let me see. In the short time that we were lovers, she was very open. She never lied to me. She never pretended that what we had was anything more than an affair. She made it very clear that she loved her husband deeply and was devoted to his welfare, and that I was nothing more or less than a physical comfort. No, she was very truthful. And I never once felt that she was leading me on or being devious in any way.
She's certainly less than honest with her husband.
Come on, Jill, that depends on how you look at it. Her husband was a much older man, physically incapacitated, and I think that Ray looked on the affair as a way of strengthening that marriage. Oh. All right, so she deceived her husband, but she never once deceived me or herself. And there's a certain honesty in that.
Mm-hmm, I suppose so.
Ray Woodard is also a very determined person. But why can't a lady have ambitions and determination?
Roger, what I'm asking you is, do you think she could corrupt Frank?
Oh, no, Frank's a big boy. He's been in politics long enough to know all the ropes.
Yes, he knows the ropes in local politics, but now he's entering on a whole national level.
That's right. But he needs Ray Woodard to do that if he wants to get into the Senate.
Well, she's certainly the one to get him there, that's for sure. She's a very clever lady.
Yes, indeed. In fact, I would venture to say that if she had to be, Ray could be both clever and ruthless.
Oh, well, maybe that answers my question. I mean, Seneca, Frank, and me, all in the same room at the same time. The place just happens to be Ray's apartment at a time chosen by her, and Seneca happens to have one too many. So, maybe she did engineer the entire thing.
Could be.
Thanks for the brandy, Roger. I'll be on my way.
Oh, listen, you're welcome to stay a while.
Oh, no. No, the hour and the brandy have done me in. I'm ready for my pillow.
Anytime. Hey.
Huh.
Not such a bad guy after all.
You're okay. You're okay. Good night.
Good night.
Your mother is a marvel. After I get you in the Senate, I'm going to find something for Maeve Ryan to run for.
Be careful, she might take you up on that.
She was wonderful on that panel. Amazing, isn't it, how much sense a little common sense can make? I'm glad Bob Reed was able to walk her home, though. I wanted a quiet moment with you. We had a bit of a problem tonight.
Jill and Seneca.
Mm-hmm. Not a happy scene. Not one either one of us wants repeated.
No.
I'm afraid I think we risk that as long as Jill continues to be a part of your campaign.
Not necessarily so, right?
Frank, can't mix romance and politics. You know that. It's not Jillian's fault. It's a simple fact.
Well, we managed very well on our last campaign and all the campaigns.
That was then. This is a whole different league. Gonna have to play by different rules. Look, you made it clear that your private life is your own, and I wouldn't dream of interfering in that. But the campaign is my business, and I intend to be terribly protective of your interests and anything that could hurt you. And I'm afraid from tonight, I feel Jill could hurt you.
And it didn't occur to you that bringing Jill and Seneca together might be a mistake.
Frank, you were there when she assured me that there wasn't any problem. I simply took her at her word. No. No, I think if we're wise, we will consider what happened tonight an omen of things to come if you continue to try to publicly combine your personal and your political lives. You know I'm right, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose you are. But I want to talk to Jill first. I want to find out what it was all about.
Take the advice of a friend. Wait till she cools off. Miss Coleridge is rather volatile.
Yeah. I suspect she was provoked. Thanks, Ray. Good night.
Good night. Night, Senator. Not a bad day's work.
Only from...
You mean about your family?
Yes?
No, not at all. Actually, it made you seem all that more remarkable to me.
It taught me a great deal, that childhood of mine. The one thing I swore was that I would never repeat it in my own life. The feeling I have for my father, I certainly wouldn't want my children to have for me. I mean, you can probably, well, you can't probably force children to love you, but you can try to understand each other. You can treat children. Children can treat parents as friends.
You want children of your own?
I do. Yes. I want children. I want a place to belong and bring them up in. Good work to do. And the center of all, a wonderful wife. Best friend of all.
Well, that sounds lovely.
Doesn't it?
Tom, I can't help feeling that you're including me in that dream for the future.
It's a dream, not a demand.
I know, but there could be such a problem.
Well, tell me.
Oh, I can't see as far into the future as you can.
But, Faith, that's exactly what you were trying to do the other night.
Yes, I was. And you stopped me. And you were right. And now I have to stop you. For the time being, anyway. Please don't think of me as a permanent part of your dreams.
Okay.
Oh, Tom, I don't want to hurt you. I just don't want you to make assumptions that might not come true. The other night we agreed that we love where we are, that we don't need to make apologies or promises. We can dream together, but we can also dream separately. We did agree on that.
We did. Of course.
I wish I could tell what you're really thinking.
I'm thinking I want to take hold of Faith Coleridge and give her a big, warm kiss.
Well, then I think you should.
Who is it?
It's me, Jill. Can I come in for a few minutes?
Oh, sure.
Are you very tired?
Well, I am, but it's okay. As long as you don't expect me to break out the cheese and crackers.
No. No, I won't even take off my coat. I was worried about you. That's all.
I'm all right.
You sure?
Uh-huh. Was it a problem, you're walking out on Ray like that?
No. No, nothing serious. I just wanted to make sure you were all right.
I'm okay. Angry with Seneca, and I knew if I stayed, we'd get into a knockout, drag-out fight, so I thought I'd better get out.
Thank you. Thank you for retreating on my benefit. Believe me, I know how it feels to back down when you know you're in the right.
Yeah, well, I took a long walk along the river and then wound up at Rogers for a brandy and a chat.
Well, Seneca left very shortly after you did. You could have stayed anyway.
Oh, no, not in my state of mind. He ruined the evening as it was. I mean, it was as if he was standing there waiting to say 10 nasty things to me.
What did he say, Jill?
He said that I was sublimating my wants and my needs and my child's future for your wants, your needs, and your future.
You know, I wouldn't have blamed you if you crowned him with whatever he was drinking.
And what if I had?
One blue ribbon panel meeting down the old drain.
Not to mention Ray's very fine upholstery.
At least we're not mad at each other.
No,
I'm very glad.
me too.
Well, I'll let you get to sleep.
Frank, I think we both agree that I just can't work on the campaign.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Ray made the same observation a little while ago.
Well, I don't blame her. I have my reservations still about her, but on that point, we are in complete agreement. And to be honest with you, the only reason I said I'd work on the campaign was because you asked me to. And I think the only reason Ray agreed was because she wanted to please you.
Yes.
But tonight shows that it just won't work. And I don't care what caused it, although I have my suspicions, but I know that we have to drop it right now.
I want to see you, Jill.
And I want to see you too, as much as possible, but not around the campaign. And besides, I have a full-time demanding career, and I have a son that I want to try to be a full-time mother to. And I think you'll agree that it's better for you to see Edmund and me separate from the politics. Don't you agree?
It was just what Bobby had said about breaking up the team. I don't know.
Hey, teams break up and life goes on.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Under these circumstances, anyway.
Well, I feel relieved, don't you?
I do, too. But more about this particular minute than anything else. Oh, I was so afraid walking over here that what happened tonight would cause trouble between us. I really was. As a matter of fact, I said a prayer outside that door. Really, I did. I stood there before I rang the doorbell, and I said, please, please let it be all right. And it is.
Yeah, it's okay. Oh, Frank. Oh, I don't want trouble between us any more than you do.
No.
Look, I think you better go. I have an early meeting in the morning.
I do, too. Very early.
So, I better walk into the door. Come on.
I want to see you and Edmund soon.
I want to see you, too.
And don't let the campaign interfere.
I won't let it or anything else get in the way.
Good.
Good night.
Good night.
Brad Pitt, Cher, Liam Neeson, Sarah Jessica Parker, Nicolas Cage. SoapNet has the biggest names in the movies you want to watch. The Sunday Night Movies, Sunday nights at 10 p.m. on SoapNet.